Everybody, welcome into the Beehive. I'm your host, TheBee at LLC. This is where we stack precious metals like it's pollen and nectar. And we're going to be joined by Everard of ARK S.G.O Osmium very shortly here. Space Miner, welcome in. Good to see you. How you doing, bud? Yeah, it's my sentiment exactly. Waking up with a bit of coffee. It's 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So, quite a day for silver today. We haven't quite hit my $5 a day move. We hit 5%, and about half of that move, $2.50 today, basically. And so we're not to the $5 move yet, but I think we'll get there by the end of the year. So let's see. Let's take a look at the chart here today. My goodness. So we had a high of 53.75. On the week, we're up $5.13, about 3 days in, 10.66%. Whew. So yeah, not too shabby. The ratio charts, 81.79. I'm going to be excited to push through the 80 number. Platinum having a good day. 16.16. Palladium not doing bad either. I think at 15. 14.62. So gold 4,182. So good day for the metals. All right, we've got Ian here jumping on. Yeah, we're gonna be getting into some big silver moves, I think, for sure. Yeah, my title today was silver. Let me see, what was my silver leading gold upward, and is that going to be a new trend? And I personally believe we're going to start to see that, and silver start to move a little bit faster than gold. At least that's what I hear, and I have a feeling we're starting to see that. Let me bring Ian up here. Ian, welcome in, my friend. How are you doing?
Sorry, I spoke over you then.
No, that's quite all right. I was just saying, good to see you, my friend. How are things down in Jackson Hole?
Pretty busy.
Yeah.
Well, getting some new first-time buyers. Some of them dropping quite a lot straight into silver.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Is that the first thing they say, or do they like to talk and get your opinion? And
interestingly, I had a lovely couple from New York, and we had a conversation about an hour long, about 3-4 days ago. And sometimes you think, well, you probably never hear from them again, but they were just considering, and they came back and
awesome,
spent over $50,000 their first ever purchase.
Oh wow, that's a way to enter into the market, isn't it? That's cool. In silver, Brian, welcome in. Good to see you. Some well-known pundits are expecting 150 to 200 within the next 2 quarters. Woo!
Yeah, I think Michael Oliver is calling 100 rapidly.
I
would hate to disagree with him because he's so much more studied than me, but I think it'll be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Always a little bit longer or a lot longer. But I think if we form a step around the $53, I think we'll see 60 pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, this tomorrow could be an interesting day.
Well, the market never sleeps, so and I know it shuts down on Kitco and other sites, but if anybody wants to watch live silver every 5 seconds update, you can use the bullionbypost.com website.
Yeah, I've been using that quite a bit since you showed that to me. Kind of enjoy it.
Generally, it's been very close to the JP Morgan live feed that the wholesalers use. Occasionally, it gets a bit out of whack. I think they get in a panic and they're hedging by upping their spot.
I see. Well, since you brought up JP Morgan, them coming out and giving the 60-20-20, that is just kind
that
of
was Morgan Stanley.
okay, Morgan Stanley. Well,
Yeah.
any big bank like that,
Oh,
really.
heck.
Like,
Heck, yeah, I don't think it's really beginning to sink in yet.
yeah. I mean, I was just thinking about that too, and somebody else brought it up, and any bank, big name coming out, and I mean, it's kind of almost a statement against yourself if you're a bank a little bit. I mean, not necessarily, but kind of. I mean, you're dealing in securities of dollars, and you're saying you're a bit nervous, right? So
I don't know what the legal repercussions are for being a fiduciary financial advisor and not looking out for your client's best interest.
Right. Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, that's probably a fine line. That's maybe why you haven't heard. I haven't heard that much before, is because you're kind of on a razor's double-sided blade there, what you would say. But
and it wasn't just Morgan Stanley; it was Jeffrey Gundlach of Double Line Capital. I think he said 25% wouldn't be excessive. For you and me, 99% wouldn't be excessive.
Yeah, well, yeah, for me, I'm all in. But
if we could replace the bricks one by one of our house and the roof tiles one by one, I'm sure we would end up living in a silver house.
Yep. Brian says probably going to overshoot at points. Yeah,
don't know. Do you know what? I don't think it is going to.
Okay, well, let's define what we're talking about here. Are we talking?
So there's lots of talk, and more E.B. Tucker saying when it gets to 50 or 60, he's selling and moving into the next fastest car. It's like, I think there's going to come a point pretty quick where all the other cars just blow up or drive off the edge of the cliff, and there is no alternative.
Yeah.
I think we're at that point, or at least we go to the fully digital currency, and then the only private money or private store of wealth is the metals. And at that point, they have a value just because they're private, beyond what their current purchasing power, beyond what multiples of their current purchasing power are. Because to have privacy from a government, and governments of every color, donkey or elephant, always seem to end up with regressive policies. And what I mean is regressive is favors the rich and it damages everybody else. I mean, you just look what the talk now. I mean, just on a little site. I mean, we spoke about this last time we were on. They're talking about capping the price of beef. So the first time in decades that ranchers are actually making some good money.
Right.
Oh no, you can't do that. It's the meat packing company. Well, it probably is the meat packing companies because there's four that control the huge part of the market. So it doesn't really matter what flavor of government. We've got more repression, financial repression coming, just to sustain the system, to keep it going a little bit longer. Kick that can down the road, or build and pave a little bit more road in front of the can that's hurtling towards it. So I think we're just going to see steadily rising. And when I say steadily, I mean, we just saw today, a 10% rise in silver in a day.
Yeah, 5%, 10% on the week, 5% on the day, from what I see.
10% on the day.
Was it? Here, I'll pull up bullion by poster. So
maybe on the week. Yeah, you're right. 11% on the week, on the rolling week now. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that's spiking, maybe, but I think it could be. it could get to 60 pretty quickly, which would be another 12-13% rise from here.
Yeah, so 11% on the week. Yeah, so I think it got about a 5 at the high today. I think it was about 5.
My biggest concern is as Mr. and Mrs. America are waking up and starting to move, and they are, what they're going to buy is just not going to be there.
Yeah.
I on Commodity Culture a couple of 3 weeks ago, I held up these Canadians. I said, those are extinct. Can't get those. Maples, can't get those. I mean, there's a few become available on the secondary market. I ordered some monster boxes of maples for some clients today. And I go to check for the wholesaler. I thought I better get another box in for stock. Sold out. So it's very, very thin, the supply. I mean, to give you an example on these, I found one wholesaler has got 50 of these. Well, that sounds a lot, but they're selling to thousands of dealers.
Right. Yeah, no. Yeah.
I mean, on the drop from 50, what do we get to 55.50? We went all the way down to 45.50, didn't we? Pretty rapidly. We were buying all the way down. We were buying 10, 15, 20, 100-ounce bars a day. So that's just us. So if there's only 50 RCM 100-ounce bars at a major wholesaler, that's probably a second, the largest bullion company in the world, but the second largest wholesaler in the US. It's thin. The supply is thin, and I don't think people can have a grasp of that yet. That just a small move into retail buying, and then there's very little product, and the premiums spike. And it's cruel, isn't it? Really, people wake up and want to do the right thing.
This is what, yes.
And the system is so dysfunctional, and that's what Jim Forsyth was trying to solve with slicing the 1,000-ounce bars. And it's been done before, because that was the last bastion of reasonably premium silver.
Right.
And you take a low premium, big 70-pound lump and cut it up into bits.
Yeah, we were actually talking about the slices of Comex bars earlier on Dub C's live stream, and everybody was talking about when are we going to bring that back? And I mentioned, well, it might become a thing again if premiums take off again. But
I think I'm going to have to get going on that. Yeah.
Awesome.
And my friend Ryan in Illinois, he is thinking of getting set up to do that as well.
Cool.
Because the time to do it is before premiums really spike.
Sure, right. Get ready for it. And
yeah.
So the unaffordium might hit about the same time as its unobtainium. I mean, we move up past the 60. Amazingly, whyever this is, that's when public starts to want to get in, is when it's shooting up. And like you say, then there's just not going to be available.
No, I mean we choose not to sell what we can't replace. I'm not going to sell and then replace. Or if I do, it's within 30 seconds, 20 seconds.
Okay.
It's like,
okay.
Before I give a quote, I'll check what's available. I'll give
the
bid. And if the client says yes, I lock in the spot and I click on the button to replace.
Right.
Or on the phone, because most of the wholesalers, it's still an over the phone operation.
Okay. No, that's a great bit of information. I think a lot of people don't really understand that, and so that's just how scary. Like you say, you'll just probably close the doors if you can't replace that order on the.
Yeah, I mean, one of the wholesalers we like to use a lot down in Texas, they've had to close their online trading. I mean, they show their product on their website, but you have to call in and order it. And that's because of the volatility and the hedging costs and the wild fluctuations in the futures. Their system isn't adept enough and instantaneous enough to adapt for all of that. But at the moment, we have one wholesaler that we can order from 24 hours a day. So if I wake up at an odd time, I always check what spot is, just in case there's a pullback.
Sure. And I suppose they with the more volatility, that itself can probably shut down some of the wholesaling as far as they get nervous on letting anything go themselves.
Yeah, that's happened 2 or 3 times in the last 5 years. We've had days where, no, we're not selling today, call back tomorrow.
Wow. Wow, crazy. So I was watching Frank Justra just last night. I believe it was on Miles Franklin, and he was kind of pushing towards, one more print might be enough to really throw the bottom out from under the dollar. And
unless it coincides with the full digital system.
Yeah, and I wonder if when we go, like, what would your level of surprise be if they say like metals would be off the list at that point? This new would that?
I think it would be phased in. They may be on day one limits, or it may be if your social credit score isn't high enough, if you're not fascist enough, you might not be able to. Or if you're too woke, you might not be able to.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's almost sort of irrelevant, because when there is the final flight to safety, there's less as a ratio of lifeboats on the Titanic, and they were short of lifeboats because it was an unsinkable ship, so they didn't bother having enough lifeboats for everybody.
Yeah.
If say the Titanic had 18 lifeboats, I don't know what the figure was. If you compare that to the theatre system, there's probably, I don't know, enough 2% of the population to get to safety.
Yeah.
In a rush. I mean, more for the wealthy people who are connected, more for people who can afford a kilo of gold. I mean, heck, we just sold 7 kilos of gold, and it was like, when I was working out, $135,000.
Wow.
For half the size of that silver bar.
Wow.
Half of that is a kilo of gold. So the kilos of gold look a little bit like a 10-ounce bar.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Like, they might still be available, but that's no good for most of us, is it?
Right. No.
You're not even going to get that if you sell your kidney, I don't think.
Yeah, and I'm down to 1, so that won't work for me.
That won't work for you. So,
well, and it's like interesting because as this government gets more and more problematic, and they implement more and more of these problematic laws and decrees, it drives the black market further and faster, and that's where these metals are going to shine the most.
Yeah.
As not only are we seeing the rise in the position we're at now, if they do if we move into the electronic system and they do start to minimize it, or it starts to become problematic like that, that's going to even push the demand higher for the metals. And same in beef, like, there's already here in Denver, Colorado, there's already plenty of increased hype about getting a hold of good beef without having to go to the supermarket. And
and we're having trouble, isn't it? Some of the Mexican beef has got a parasite in it, a flesh-eating parasite.
I heard something about that. Yeah, screwworm or something.
That can make you go vegetarian, couldn't it?
That's it's going to take something like that to do that to me. But yeah. So yeah, it could get it. So that kind of brings me, I wanted to talk about liquidity.
Yeah.
And some of the liquidity of some of these rare, more unknown metals that obviously the demand is going to increase for as well. But the liquidity, let's talk, like you've been looking into rhenium lately.
Yeah.
And doing quite well, I must admit. Great calls on that, by the way. But how do you see for liquidity on something like that? If someone like, do you have to sell to a corporation? I mean, I know you have demand, but in general, what do you see?
As far as I know, we're the only US precious metals business selling it. So that would naturally restrict possibly to giving Ian a call when the time comes to sell.
Yeah,
But I definitely wouldn't recommend it as your main position or your first position.
right.
I did make an exception. I had a good friend and his sister was insisting on buying $100,000 worth.
Wow.
Because her brother's perception was, well, every time I buy silver, it goes down. Because in the immediate,
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of times I've bought silver, it's gone down, but
Yeah.
then it
always comes back.
But I was pretty insistent that she had at least a good chunk of silver.
Yeah.
So liquidity, I have zero concern for our personal holdings. We have a great relationship with two of the major industrial companies in the US. They refine and they deal in rhenium. They've both been approached by the US government under the Department of Logistic Acquisition, who are trying to get nearly 60 tons of rhenium. I just think the demand is so high, it's not going to be an issue finding somebody to buy it.
Right. That was exactly what I was wondering. So those corporations themselves have been speaking with the U.S. government, and they're big.
Well, yeah, and I mean, give you an example. Rolls-Royce in the U.S. has to have 11 tons next year. Now, no one's supposed to know that number. So don't tell anybody, please. Seriously, if you put in, if somebody can try it if they want, you put it in ChatGPT or Grok, it won't give you a straight answer. It will say it's a secret or something like that.
Wow.
Because they don't want you to know. And GE needs a similar amount. They have to have it to build their engines. So Boeing and Lockheed Martin and all the military companies and all of the satellite companies and the oil refineries and now electrical companies and now medical companies can have their rhenium. They have to buy it. So when the demand is rising, the supply is fixed and falling. And not only is the mine supply falling, now investors like ourselves are taking it off the market. The squeeze is a little bit more rapid than it would have been. So if you have a concern and it would keep you up at night, please don't buy it. Go buy something else.
Right.
Just go away. I mean that politely. I didn't mean to sound rude, but when you hold a kilo of rhenium, there's only 50,000 of those per year for the whole world's consumption.
Wow.
Plus a bit, 20, maybe 25 tons of recycling, but as of raw, fresh mine output. So there's enough for 50,000 people to have a kilo each. There's 40,000 people in the little valley I live in, and it's pretty remote. I mean, 20,000 people live in Jackson, and 100,000 tourists visit Jackson. So if 1 in 2 of the tourists who visit Jackson each year bought a kilo of rhenium, that's the whole year's supply. You multiply that out. I mean, I don't know how many people buy precious metals. I guess you should be able to extrapolate out roughly. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe 1 million or more Americans buy precious metals. So say it's 1 million, you would need 1 in 40. No, is that math right? No, 1 in 20, 1 in 200. If 1 in 200 stackers bought a kilo of rhenium, well, one, they couldn't, but it would be the whole amount that's produced each year. So it's that finite scarcity that was one of the key things that attracted me to it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty well capped, the supply. Eventually, they'll be able to increase it, possibly. I know Barry was talking about some new recovery technologies. We've been recovering, getting higher recovery rates from low concentrations of different metals. But we're years away from anybody building that out and we're years away from anybody building more capacity to squeeze a little bit more recycling. But we are in the midst of a full-on commodity war with China.
I would say the whole world. I mean, it's getting real. I mean, all countries are going to need a little bit of everything that they need. I mean, it's no longer the easy trade that we've been used to, right? So everybody's going to start to feel the crunch a little bit.
And I know Neil loves platinum, knows a lot about it. So platinum is, what are we, a kilo? 1 kilo of platinum at spot is $52,164.59. But it's 190 tons of platinum is mined each year, so nearly 4 times the production of rhenium, and it's got a longer history. There's more above ground platinum in laboratory equipment, in pure form, in jewelry, in old Russian coins. It's yet lowly rhenium is 3,800. So if you can do the math on that, what fraction? That's 1/12 the price of platinum, roughly. Yet 4 times less production, and it has its own key uses there's no replacement, unsubstitutable.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sold on it. I just don't have any money, so that's my issue. But I like what you say about it. About don't get into it if you're without your other bases. We're worried about selling it. It should be that extra thing.
I don't know enough about crypto. I have so many people, so many clients who seem to be in the know. I got one client, he's sure he's going to make a 20x on this private IPO that somebody close to the president has tipped him off on. It's like, but I'm not putting a penny into it.
Yeah, no, there's so many.
I have no idea, and I'm not going to pile into it on FOMO. That's another bad reason.
Yeah, and there's so many, unless you're writing the code to these things, there could be so many back doors that they can, pull on you, and you're locked out. And I mean, again, another one of those things where maybe if you had enough of your base cover in other places, okay.
If you want a trip to the casino,
exactly, right, yeah.
If that's your thing. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever gambled in a casino. I've been to a conference in a casino, but I don't think I've ever placed a bet.
I've only once with a friend, and he moved to Vegas, and I went down and visited him, and we had to play some. I can't even remember what it was that we played, but I just lost some money, and I was like, okay, I know what that's like. Let's do something else.
I had a British friend, and he had a modest job. He worked at a builder's supply merchant I used to use a lot. And he went to Vegas. I mean, this must have been like 25 years ago. And he thought it was brilliant just to go and gamble £20,000 and lose it.
Wow.
He thought that was a fun holiday. I didn't get that.
Yeah, me either. But so yeah, I hear there's a new stimmy coming out, new stimmy check.
Is there?
Yeah,
we didn't get the 5,000 one. What were we due the $5,000 one from? We were going to get a $5,000 one for something.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what. Well,
that was the Doge. We were going to get 5,000 each.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Magic Musk had saved $2 trillion.
Yeah.
We were going to get $5,000, but
supposedly,
what did you spend yours on?
I guess. So yeah, supposedly this is from all the money we're making from tariffs. Yeah. So we're each going to get a little stimmy there,
which are generally a regressive tax because people who buy stuff, generally the poorer people spend more of their income, if not all of their income, on buying stuff. So they're getting taxed, whereas wealthy people don't spend everything they accumulate or earn, they just store it up.
Yeah, and it's just what do you call that? The movement velocity. They're just trying to get some velocity going, but there's obviously that's a sure way to drive inflation, that's for sure. Let alone we're moving towards printing again anyway, so those are all sure signs of further debasement.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know if you saw Scott Besant, our wonderful Treasury Secretary, who has the ability to turn $5 billion into $500 million and get paid to do it, he was saying, oh, well, it probably means because the equivalent of the tax cuts people have had already equal 2,000. He was doing everything to basically say, no, we can't do it. We can't do it.
Yeah. So, and
I've just seen Neil's comment there. There is no Doge refund. I think the actual savings might amount to 100 billion or less as a total of the government budget. It was a rounding error, and the costs that will come on through from the way it was done, it will probably end up neutral, if not actually cost. The whole reason for the Doge attack was to get into every government department and collect all of the data, take it in laptops, in backpacks, and give it to the wonderful Palantir.
I agree. I think so, for sure. Yeah, I agree fully on that one. And most of which is the for me, and I'm sorry if I'm stepping on toes here, but I'm just so positive at this point that it's above the left-right paradigm. Those are just shenanigans. The whole, like you say, the whole Doge. These are ways of making the public thinking you're doing one thing while you're actually hurting them in some other way. I mean, this has been a steady theme since I've started paying attention these last few years. So it's
the old description, isn't it? 2 wings, 1 sick bird.
Yeah. Yeah, there anyone who is trusting in our government to help us is, in my opinion, sadly barking up the wrong tree.
Although the east wing has been demolished, so it's 1 wing, 1 sick bird now.
Yeah. So this is always so. I find it funny that when people are talking about gold and revaluing it, and they'll say, well, it can't move up high enough. But that's just kind of like ridiculous. If you look at Bitcoin and how much fiat has been put towards nothing, basically. I mean, the rails you could say are something.
Yeah.
But if you can put that kind of value into thin air and an application of just for the rails, I mean, it's ridiculous not to see that the most valued thing for thousands of years can't suddenly be revalued to way over those prices.
Well, it's doing it fairly well on its own, isn't it? I mean, if you look at the rolling year, this might upset Neil. The rolling year, platinum is up 69%, silver is up 72%, and gold is up 60.93%. So silver is mashing gold on the rolling year.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, is there a theoretical ceiling? I mean, a lot of people would say eventually. I mean, if you look at Exeter's pyramid, and I know Rafi Faber is convinced we're close to the end game where everything collapses, and the only thing that is money is gold and silver. I hope we're a way off from that, because that means disaster for most people.
Yeah,
there is no equitable solution where us people who have precious metals spend it all into the economy, and then now that everybody's got money and everybody's happy and everybody lives happily ever after. That's not human nature. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
People will starve and die. People will kill people to get food or possessions or fuel. It will be horrible.
And the government's going to be here to assist us on helping that through.
What happens to government in a complete... I've never really studied that in history. What happens to government when economies collapse? Interesting. do they get
it'll be like FEMA. It'll be like FEMA in the hurricane. When they show up, it just makes it 3 times as bad. You know,
oh, they put you all in a stadium and don't give you water for 3 days.
Yeah, they stop you from helping your neighbor because they're going to take care of it, and of course,
they don't.
Happens. You're just locked in, can't help anybody. So, what is your opinion on my title, Silver Leading Gold Upward? Is that, I hear Mineko talk a lot about when you get later down that bull market, silver starts to lead over gold. What is
it is, isn't it? I mean,
here lately, yeah. That's
obviously you can cherry pick different periods, but I just pulled up the year. Gold is up 60.93% on the rolling year, and silver is up 72.74%. Which would you rather have?
Right.
That's another 12% that more than compensates for the higher premium. Way more than compensates. I think we carry on from here.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
I think that ratio will carry on moving down.
I agree. Yeah, so that's I know that's, in my opinion, Brian, you're right there, and I think their face is showing now more than ever for if you're paying attention.
It is. I mean, talking about the elites. I mean, I saw a little bit of an interview of Sam. I think it was Sam Altman.
Yeah.
Talking about, and they were asking genuine questions. How are you ever going to make money? And it was like, how dare you ask that question? How ridiculous, It's like, and I think they're trying to get too big to fail, and say, well, if the US loses the AI race, China will take over the world. So therefore, you've got to bail us out. I think that's the playbook.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's their playbook in other places.
Yeah. I'm not so convinced how amazing AI will be. It definitely won't be equitable, will it? If there is gains, I don't think it'll be shared.
No. For me, for sure, they're trying to force us into this new system and lock us down and keep us on the bottom rung. That's what, and they're just not. Well, here's a good example: 50-year mortgages. They're talking 50-year mortgages, 15-year car loan, auto loans.
Really?
Yeah. So, that's just further indebting, enslaving, pushing you further down in the rung.
It's been the plan, hasn't it? I mean, that was the trap of low interest rates, but 30-year mortgages and refinancing all the time. So your mortgage only ever gets to be 2 or 3 years old, and then it was refinanced. So you start again, and all what you do for the first year or two, you just pay interest. You still owe the principal.
Yeah.
And then now people are in the trap. They've got used to that. Now their dilemma is to lose a 3% rate and go to a 6% rate.
Right. Yeah. And they think, we got that loosens up more money for us, but you're just
piggy bank that's over, isn't it? So what effect does that have on our economy? I mean, it must be trillions that people were cashing out on their gain, refinancing, maybe even getting a lower rate, paying the same or less per month, spending it into the economy. Well, that's gone, isn't it? So that whole property feeling rich effect. If the only people who feel rich, the only people who are rich are the really rich, there's no economy.
Yeah.
I think we're close to that.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Yeah, so we've got silver now being a critical mineral. It's jumped over $50 now so fast. That happened. So, I mean, I guess I've been waiting a while, but it seems now just seems so fast to be talking about it at over 50, 53, almost 54 today. And so we rated it a critical mineral. Russia's central bank started stacking it. India's central bank started stacking it.
Russia's been stacking for decades.
Yep. Yeah. And now I hear Saudi.
If you think about it, the BIS had to announce the shift because they foresaw the ending of the fiat currency. Yeah. So they had to announce gold is going to replace all fiat currencies as a reserve.
Yes.
But they didn't have to announce it for silver. And I'm sure that the central banks and incredibly wealthy people have been buying. Well, I know personally, incredibly wealthy people have been buying silver for a long time.
Yeah, I thought when they came out and stated it, I thought that was quite, telling. Like, they were obviously at war basically with us, and they're coming out and saying, we're going to start stacking silver. I mean, that's a pretty big flag that they're waving for anybody that's paying attention to the money.
It is to actually state it.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. What it means is we've been doing it all along. We're well prepared. Now we're going to cause a panic, and the price is going to go up.
That's exactly what I thought that statement said as well.
Yeah. So. The gold silver ratio actually, Brian, it's 78.87 now.
Oh, is it really busted through 80? Sweet.
Yeah, that's we're sort of it's almost I don't know what the 10-year low was. 10-year low was 62.82. So I think we're going to get to 60 pretty quickly.
I do too.
Whilst gold is going up. So Michael could be right. 100 could come pretty quick.
Yeah.
But you won't be able to buy any.
That's that's kind of something that I've been saying this whole time is they're going to hold it down, and then suddenly, boom, they're going to let it run, and you're going to be locked out.
I am now officially a chocolatier, so I have made chocolate foil-covered replicas for all of the silver in the store window. It's all chocolate. Anybody thinking of stealing our silver out the window.
Nice.
You get some good chocolate, but it's not.
So, and then the other central bank that I heard anyway had moved into silver through an ETF, but supposedly the amount they put in is going to be possible for them as a government to pull on maturity. So that's 3 big central banks now admitting to having a big interest in silver.
Yeah.
And us admitting it's a critical mineral. So.
And when the whole annual market is what? $34 billion. Is
that what it is?
Yeah. Whatever 800 million times 53 is. Yeah. My calculator hasn't got enough digits.
And so
it's not a lot. No.
Now I've been hearing people talk about the amount of trade done with the dollar, and it was over 80. Then I heard it was down to 70. Now I heard it was down to 60, and now I'm hearing it's pushing down to 50. So that's
which is still huge.
It's still huge, but that's a fast unwind too.
It's huge when you consider what the percentage of the American population is compared to the world population. And it is sort of irrelevant, really. It's irrelevant if we upset so many trading partners that they look for other markets that they don't even want to sell anything to us, or then it will be irrelevant having the reserve currency because nobody will sell anything to us anyway.
Right. Do
you see what I mean?
For sure.
Relevant. And obviously technology has moved on a pace with decentralized finance and some of the crypto moving payments in crypto or blockchain or whatever. So there's different ways of making transactions now. And obviously with the BRICS doing settling the being able to cash out your foreign currency you've got from a trade and turning it into gold on the Shanghai exchange. I guess the next move could be China could say how much silver and how much gold they've got. That would be pretty scary. I mean, lots of people are estimating between 20 and 40,000 tons of gold.
So that was something that Frank Juster was guessing at and hypothesizing. And one of the questions that was asked was, do you think that big move of gold earlier this year coming over was, our government trying to make a cover?
I don't think the government's smart enough, but it might be the elite banking fraternity.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's probably it might be partial truth in the reasons of avoiding tariffs, but it might be, do you know what? If everything does blow up, we want as much gold here as possible. If we're going to cut London loose, so you're not part of the cabal anymore. But it could be that the dynastic families, from Britain and Europe, still do rule the whole financial world.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know it goes behind what they show us to be the front anyway. I know that it's the power is not where they say it is. That's for sure. So then, now I hear these big banks, BlackRock's coming out and saying they're losing big losses, and so it sounds like and being back in the housing market again.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they'd only just finished selling stuff off at a loss. My theory there was that all of these Vanguard, BlackRock, Stain Street, oh my gosh, there's 2 or 3 more big ones. My theory was they were buying up, paying over the top prices just to amass a volume. Then they were going to dump them on the market, crash the price, and pick up 3 times as many for a third the price.
Wow, that's an interesting thought process.
If you have enough of anything, you can control the market either way.
Wow.
That's what China had been doing with the rare earths. As soon as foreign competition set up refining capability, they crashed the price below their cost, put them out of business, and then they put the price back up again. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the system will do anything to get people out of home ownership.
Yeah.
For all of its problems and all of its stresses and all of the taxes and the maintenance and everything, it's still financially one's castle and emotionally and spiritually one's castle, and one's bastion of, you shut that door to the world, and then and your curtilage around, this is mine. It's like, keep off. And if you can remove that, you emasculate, don't you? You cut down, you make that person who now is no longer a homeowner a less secure person, easier to control, easier to manipulate, easier to be repressive to.
That's, to me, the game plan for many years now. From what I can glean, that's a purposeful plan that's been in play. And you now are seeing it more and more. Like there's a big uproar about this new New York mayor who's talking about freezing rent.
Yeah.
And that's just it's another one of these nightmares that I don't know.
We're part of the way there in the UK. You're limited to the amount you can put the rent up, and you can only put the rent up once a year in the UK now as a landlord.
Better make it sufficient on that move, huh?
It's a balance, because there's always bad landlords and there's always bad tenants.
Yeah, but you gotta in my opinion, you gotta let the market deal that out, right? Because if you let the market at it.
Except that housing is so key to a healthy economy, it's short-sighted to not have some sensible intervention. I mean, the biggest housing program ever in the UK was a Conservative, a right-wing government. They realized that good housing provides healthy people who are going to be more productive. And they built over 1 million, I think 1.5 million. It was the largest house building campaign Britain had ever seen. That wasn't a socialist government. That was a right-wing government, because they realized how beneficial house building is when it's done to make affordable living. So it is a balance for sure. I mean, people say the market is always right, or always ends up with the right decision. Well, yeah, but along the way, there's a lot of carnage, isn't there? On a lot of way. I think some landlords would overcharge if they could. If it was
of course.
Lag. I mean, in an old city, it's not going to be that easy to bring on new supply unless you convert office space into. I mean, that's what we should be looking at. I mean, we've got an office building disaster with a $3 trillion mortgage book that the regional banks hold. Well, why don't we look at, okay, let's turn that into apartments. Maybe not forever apartments, but they could be done. These are going to last 5, 10, 15 years. You know, that would really bring rents down, wouldn't it? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, there was there's a building in Denver, the financial, it sold for $8 million. And the last time it was mortgaged, it had a $300 million mortgage on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge building.
Some big high rises like that going through these. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it might not be practical, but that's the sort of thing that a sensible, benevolent government should be doing. Okay, we've got a homelessness issue. We've got an affordability issue. We've got kids living in their basement until they're 42 years old. You know, it's not healthy generally.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen, I just went to Walmart and got some groceries right quick. I just grabbed a juice and stuff, and leaving there, the amount of homeless people in Denver is just I mean, it kind of rips my heart out. And I
watched a program comparing Denver to other cities with a homeless problem, and apparently Denver spends $14 million a year just moving people on. That's all they do. They don't do anything to try and help the issue, to help people get a stable address so they can get a job or get medical care. And a lot of people are moving every 3 days, and eventually something breaks on their RV and they can't move. So then they impound the RV, and it's an $800, $1,500 fee to recover it, which they can't, and it's broken. They haven't got the money to fix it anyway. And they get 20 minutes and 2 cardboard boxes to collect what they can of their whole life's possessions. You could say, it's somebody's fault they end up in it, but the result is more damaged people, less productive people. Even if you looked at it as a capitalist mercenary accounting exercise, it makes no sense what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, see, for me, a lot of this really does stem back to this bad monetary fiat system, because a lot of it too is the corruption that enters into.
Oh, absolutely. System. There was a case study, a guy in Denver again, and he worked 37 years diesel fitter. So a pretty skilled job. A single guy. He managed to pay off his own house. So he had a 2-bedroom house. He thought he was set up for retirement. When he retired, his property taxes were $1,900. They went up to $7,000. He couldn't afford them. So he sold his house and he lives in an RV now, and he has to move every 3 days because there is nowhere in the whole Denver area where you can park an RV for more than 3 days without risk of getting towed. It's like he worked his life. So, but yes, I totally agree. The system robbed him because somehow that work didn't earn him enough to retire in a reasonable level of comfort.
Yeah.
So whether it was the company he was working for made the money,
right?
Partly, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but that goes back, doesn't it, to when Mike Maloney did an excellent program of 2-3 years ago, WTF 1970 or 1971, and he showed charts, and on that chart he showed productivity, and productivity has done this throughout the last century, just keeps going up. Wages tracked it till 1970, then flatlined. So yeah, that's the system. Has robbed people of the efforts of their labor. So,
and once that break happens, the lower just get lower and lower, while the higher get higher and higher. That
well, I mean, people go on about how great the country is because the stock market's all-time highs, but 90-something% of the stocks are owned by 10% of the population. Right. 90-something%. So that leaves 10% for the other 90%. The bottom 90% own only 1/10. So it's pretty irrelevant. And I think the average pension, if people have a pension fund, is only like $180,000. And if we get a collapse, that could easily turn into $40,000.
Yeah. Or another printing, same thing. Yep. Yeah, well, what's some good news here? We as of right now, you still have some time to secure yourself some of the value that you have wherever you might have it locked up. If you think you got it in something that's gonna be good and solid, great. If you need to put it into something that is gonna be solid and do well for you, I think for me the metals are looking very shiny. And what do you have for them for deals right now, Ian?
Yeah, we have 10-ounce bars for new clients. We can do a few of these at spot.
At spot, beautiful.
Yeah, we've got lots of kilos, different makes. Still a kilo of pure silver, probably 99 cents on those. We did manage to get some of these lovely 100-ounce Canadians, 4.95.
Nice.
Those are a couple of bucks. And then the coins have jumped up a little bit, really. I mean, there's a few Philharmonics around $3 and Krugrands. Britannia's pretty well are extinct still. Been extinct for about 3 weeks. Maples came back for a few days, and now they seem to be disappeared.
Thinning out again. So can I press you on the premiums a little bit? What do you see happening with the premiums? Is it just because the price is going up so much right now? The premiums are low, or what?
So the premiums generally indicate demand supply ratio. That when the demand exceeds the immediate supply, the wholesalers feel they can and do put the premiums up. I mean, some of the wholesalers were running on a 10 cents per ounce margin, and they were shipping and insuring. It's like it costs us 20 something cents to ship per ounce with shipping and insurance. So some wholesalers were doing 10% over the mint, what the mints were charging them. And they were doing sophisticated things, hedging in the futures. And if you're really smart, sometimes you can make good money doing that. So yeah, premiums did rise rapidly in that last run up to 55.
Okay.
But they pulled back. I mean, maples, when you can get them, are almost the same price as eagles at the moment, which I've never seen before. And then the 90% is still back of spot. It's still below spot.
Okay, yeah, that's certainly interesting. It's weird to be starting to border on unobtainium, and we're still having low premiums to me. But I guess it's because of the high price move. And
yeah, it is interesting. I thought premiums were going to move faster. I mean, in 2020, the wholesale premium on a maple was $5 an ounce when silver was $25. Now, when we can get them, we're selling them for $3.50, $4, that sort of range, depending what deal we can get. When silver is over twice the price. So as a percentage, the retail premium is way less than half. It's about a third of what it was in 2020.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So whether it's us dealers are more aware of what the wholesalers were paying, so now we're like, really, we ain't paying that. I don't know. It has swung that it's more of a seller's market in the industry now. There's not any wriggle room. 2-3 weeks ago, if I wanted a few boxes, I could get 10-15 cents off, possibly with a friendly phone call. Now it's be grateful we've got it.
Yeah.
But part of it, what I think is still holding premiums back, is although the new suppliers curtailed because of the costs the mints are having to pay to lease silver. That's how they traditionally mint product. They lease the silver, sell the silver, and pay the lease back. So there's been destruction of new supply, but we have still got some secondary market product coming on, which I think is holding back premiums still.
I see.
Well, the wholesaler has a choice. If they get dumped with a lot of if they choose to purchase a lot of product and it's more than they want to hold, they would send it to a refiner. But now there's a delay on getting paid from the refiner. So now you've got a cash flow issue. So it might make sense for them to sell it cheaper to get rid of it quick. So so there is that. I would say that's distorting the market dynamics, but that can dry up in
Right.
hours, if
Sure.
not a day or so.
Sure. Well, yeah, I'd like to see, some more of those Comex bar slices as well. So hopefully that's something that you can get set up. I know.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a few 1,000-ounce bars, so yeah, it would be fun. I mean, the great Jim Forsyth did teach me the art of the silver cutting bandsaw, the feed rate, the type of blade, and the coolant.
Awesome.
That was fun. I've still got the end of that Pamp Suisse bar,
Nice.
which I use as a paperweight now and then. So yes, that's the fallback. But it'll be interesting as the price keeps rising. Will we see artisanal mining kick off in a big way in the US?
I was wondering that as well.
Or will they shut it down with lots of, you can't do that, you're going to pollute that.
Right. Yeah. And our mine's going to be nationalized, all that stuff. This could get really interesting really fast coming up here, couldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bandsaw space miner, Harbor Freight.
Yep. I was going to tell you that, space miner, but I didn't have time in the earlier conversation we were in. But yeah, cool. Well, hopefully we'll look forward to that. There's some demand for those now that some of the community has seen those slices passed around, and everybody today was asking.
I haven't looked. Is anybody selling anywhere, or is there none available?
No, you were it. You were the man with those. So
I have got a few left somewhere. I've got a box of around the 15, 14 ounce. I think I got a dozen or so.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we'll be bringing those back to market soon. Hopefully we hang around here and, so we can get some product back in stock throughout before. I'm nervous that it is going to jump up and that there will be more demand come in and it's just going to be gone. You just won't be able to get it. That's my worry. But
whether that's accidental or coincidence or
it's not in my opinion, but hey.
Because it's a small market and it's a free market. I'm not aware of any like trade body that pulls everybody together and discusses and tries to make things better. Or I'm not aware of any cooperation. And I'm not talking price fixing or collusion. I think, ARK have been around 60 years now. So they're the biggest. And I think there is a great level of cooperation at the wholesale level to help each other if they're short of a product,
Sure.
to make it, I think generally my experience so far has been positive of all the wholesale companies.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't personally put it on them, but like they're, there's these secretive, gatherings.
Yeah.
And, I would think that, the smaller the wholesalers, the people like you, we're all out here to help each other. But when you work your way up high enough, they're working for a different group of people to be friendly to. So,
yeah.
For me to be this smart and I was warning about it on this, talking with you a year or two ago, like you watch, it's going to stay low and then boom, it's going to jump up and be out of reach for people. And here we are on the verge of that.
So. Psychologically, I had one client, he was spending $5,000 a week, every week. And it would be platinum, silver or palladium. And then he rang up and he said, "What's your best deal on silver?" And it came out at $34 something, including premium. I said, "I vowed I'm never paying more than $34 for silver." And it's like, I bet he wish he had bought some at $34.20.
Right. Some of these ridiculous, and that's what I see. It's so frustrating for me. You get these people it'll never get to 40. Like I could name a lot of people who were harping. I was being a pumper according to their theology. It'll never get back to 40. And then now they're talking, I can see it going to 60. I'm like, well, what it's just frustrating, but whatever.
Yeah, I was completely wrong in, was it 2021? I predicted $40 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, mind you, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad prediction because, like I say, I mean, if you would have gradualized this run up, you would have been fine.
Oh, if you
But it's
draw a
just a
line from
sudden
where we,
poof.
yeah, if you draw a line, yeah.
So, all
But
right,
at the
Ian.
end of it's the end of the day is what helps. What's private, and I'm talking more and more to clients. Okay, just don't ignore everything else and all of the fundamentals. But key is the privacy. If the government doesn't know you've got it, it's a lot harder for them to steal it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and as much as people love the crypto, and I hate to be more negative, I'm so negative of a channel. I got to try to be more positive somehow. It's just so easy for them to seize the whole platform,
Yeah.
any certain coin, anybody in particular, all of that stuff. Even Bitcoin started out as, oh, you can't track it, you can't trace it. Well, that has for sure been proven wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, just cover yourself on your bases, like you say, with this, and then who cares? Go have fun in those other places. But yeah. All right. Well, we'll get you back in a couple of weeks and see what we got for availability.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, I appreciate having you on, everybody. Let me see. Let me throw up a number here. I think I have you. Yeah, so reach out to Ian, 307-264-9441. Email is Ian, IAN, at ARK S.G.O.com. Reach out to him and get yourself some protection before it disappears. So, and with that, Ian, thank you very much. We'll get you back on the next one.
Good night, everybody.